What's up, Innova fans? Welcome to my In the Bag for 2018. Starting off with the bag, I'm using the Upper Park Designs Rebel. It's great on the back. I toss it on and I'm up the hill. They carry very easily and ergonomically, so I really love this bag, thanks to those guys. We'll just get right into it. I've got a lot of discs. I've got a pretty eclectic mix of what I've been throwing. This isn't all of the discs that I have. A lot of them are in a bin at home, and I kind of swap them out as I see fit. But this is basically what I'm rocking with right now on the West Coast. Start with the putters. This will probably dole down to 4 KC AVRs and 1 DX AVR. This is an old one, it's a 3-ring, so it's a little bit smaller. The mold back in the day is just a little bit less blunt, so this is my long range putter. These are discs that most of them were given to me. Nice straight AVR. This is for approach shots. Just something that I can toss with a touch of hyzer, it'll stand right up onto the line. This is my slightly less stable putter, so I throw this one flat and I'll get a little bit of turn out of it. These two are my putters. They basically do the same thing, they just have a little different feel. This one's a little more porous, so I can really get my hands into it on cold days, and this is for a little bit warmer weather. So, AVR Big Bead, love those. In my utility putter spot, I use a Rhino. Typically, I don't throw this disc many times backhand. Typically, I'll throw this only forehand. And this is just for setup shots or something that I need to set up on the line straight and get it to fall down. It doesn't glide very far, so I can hit it a little bit harder on the line and it wants to stop right there. Into my mid-ranges. If you keep up with my game, then you probably know that I don't use the mid-range as much as a lot of the other players, but I do have a few in my bag, and I'm just really kind of working them in and just focusing on how they fly, you know. It's all about the angles with the mid-ranges, so I take the rock. I have 3 different types today. I have an old school 3-ring San Marino rock. This is from the 90s. This has a nice stand up to flat and then a hook at the end. I can also manipulate this one to kind of carry to the right. And just the way that this mold is, kind of just carries the inertia. It just wants to follow wherever you throw it, and then slight finish. I also have a beat up one of these that's used for my slow turnover fades. In the place of the other San Marino is my buddy Dano's rock. This is my flippy rock. So I'll just set this one on flat and it'll carry over. Main thing with this one is I just try to be smooth with it. If I overplay it, it wants to turn over. It's a flat topper, so it doesn't have too much glide, but I want to hit it and then just kind of sear it on the line, if you will. Next is a Luster Champion Rock 3 with the Dan Lyons artwork, the rock and skull that he did. Just an amazing feeling disc right here. This one's actually the transitional from the plastics. This thing flies nice. I hit it hard and flat. Boom, it'll hold there for basically as far as it can go, and then it hyzers out. This is a hard one to turn over, and it's fairly new. I've had it in the bag about 3 months. Really enjoying this one. My utility mid-range is a Stingray. This one says 1991 on it. This was Roger Elliott's Stingray, and it's a very, very nice disc. I use this for utility rollers or maybe a weird, crazy inside out line. But typically, I can throw this with hyzer and it'll bend over and roll. It's great for shorter rollers or holes with an interesting shot shape that I can't really move the flick as far to the right as I need to. Or depending on what the lay of the land is, it might just be easier to toss a roller down the hill than, lay a sidearm out and watching it float away. So This is a really fun disc to use, very user-friendly. If you haven't checked out a Stingray before, this is one of the older molds that Innova has made for a long, long time, and definitely worth a pickup. I recommend the DX just because you're gonna really learn how it flies, and you know, it's just point and shoot, point and shoot. This will follow right where you throw it, so really fun disc to play with there. Into my drivers, I've got 2 longer fairways, which are Thunderbirds. My friend Tom Embry gave me this first run Thunderbird about 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years ago. Thank you, Tom. Great disc. This just sets right up on line. I hit it with a touch of hyzer. It stands directly and just goes straight as far as I could throw it. This Thunderbird is a Star Thunderbird. I found like this one's a lot more overstable than this one here. This is almost like a fast Firebird. I want to thank Jeff Ash for giving me this disc and his awesome dies. So thanks, Jeff. Now we're into my favorite disc, the Eagle. Oh, that's not an Eagle. These 4 are though. So this is basically the entire spread of the Eagles that I throw. This is a Champion Edition Eagle. Very straight disc. If I release this with hyzer, it'll stand up straight. Same thing with the flick, hyzer, stand up straight, and it'll even flip over if I push it hard enough. I gotta be careful with this one because it will flip. Typically, I try to throw it about 80%. The T-Bone Eagle. This is such a great disc. This is a KC Pro 10 time. For those of you that don't really know the lineage of the plastics, this was before the Champion Edition Eagles, but this is a very Champion Edition-esque plastic, really durable. I've had this in my bag for 1.5 years after a trade from my buddy Jesse. T-Bone was a guy I played with when he was still here, a great guy, and I'm honored to throw this disc everywhere I go. I love this thing so much. Really just a flat shooter. It'll kind of pull up on the line and then hook back up directly on line. Really fun. Here's a 2015 Eagle. These are a flat run, a Champion Eagle. Very nice one. This one's just got a little bit more, I think this has a little bit more girth on the rim than those other 2, being that it's newer. But again, very straight disc. This one has a little bit of fade, but I'll bump up to this one in maybe a windy situation or upwind where I would use one of those. It's just a little bit more blunt, wants to fly through the air a little slower than those ones. So, on to the brand new one. My friend Tim just gave me this today. I'm very excited to have this disc in my bag. It's an 11-time Champion Eagle. These are great runs. I mean, this is where it all started for me and playing disc golf. This was the first fast disc that was on the market at the time. When I was coming up, you were either a T-Bird guy or an Eagle guy. So I chose the Eagle, partly because of the way it feels in my hand for the sidearm. I love throwing these sidearm, but also backhand too. This one just has a little bit more, a little bit more fade than these older ones. And I can hit it a little bit harder and it'll just hold the line, whereas those might turn over. So thank you, Tim. Great disc here. Can't wait to put that one to use. I have a few more of these, but this is just a really flat top Firebird. Same speed as the Eagle. I use this for chop hyzers or little sidearm approaches. I could use the Gator, but the Gator's not in my bag right now. I just use the Firebird. It kind of cuts the wind a little bit better. So this is more or less just an approach disc for me. I don't really use this off the tee too much, especially when I have the Eagle, going. I've got a nice set of those. This is just for an extremely windy situation or just a nice touch-up shot. Firebird, can't go wrong. All right. The Roadrunners. This is the Team Champion Series that Innova ran for me this year. The purple one's got a nice dome on them. These will flip up, fly straight, and then hook up. As I beat it in, I realize as it wears in, it's gonna be able to turn over more and more, so I'm starting to be able to use it for a roller now. I've had it in my bag for about a month. I feel really good. Thank you to everyone who's picked one up. I'm really enjoying it myself, so I hope you are too. This is basically a Roadrunner, but it is called an STD. It's a Discmania disc. I got my first STD in Sweden, and it comes with me everywhere I go. I don't know about the rest of you or where you got your STDs, but I got mine in Europe. This comes with me everywhere. This has been my main roller for 2 years. I just love throwing this disc. Flies great, has a nice turn into a roller, and just overall, a really useful disc. You can do so much with these things, especially, you know, you can flick roll them, you can backhand roll them. If you bump down the power, you can go to about 60% and really just smooth this up onto the line and almost fly it like an old school disc. There's a lot of fast discs on the market. The Roadrunner is not as fast on the speed gauge, but definitely with the glide, you can throw these a long, long way. So, love those. So, as you guys know, I move discs in and out of my bag all the time, so these are the fast discs that I have right now working in the bag. I've got 2 bottom stamp Scorpius. These are made by Innova, released by Millennium, so they're in the family. Basically, it's just a slightly less stable version of the Destroyer. It's the old Destroyer mold. I really like that. Just for me personally, I don't have the power threshold to stand up a Destroyer as long as I can stand one of these up. These will really stand and ride for me. I like these bottom stamps with the white. They're just perfect. They just feel great. That's a huge one for me, the feel. I don't typically go off a color, I just go off a feel, and the white ones felt the best, so. Scorpius. This is an older one. This is more of a pop top version, kind of SDS Destroyer-esque. This is the old mold, and I believe this is one of the early runs. Weird thing about the die, it seems like the porousness comes out a little more, so this one's got a lot of grip. Oh, get it, baby. Woo! 4. Hey, these guys want to talk all they want. Bet you they won't talk with their wallet after this round. I have 1 Destroyer in the bag right now. It's basically just like the Scorpius. This one came from my friend Tyrell Peters, who's on the Innova Celebrity team. Thank you, Tyrell. This thing's awesome. It's just a meat hook. It's got a little bit more, I feel like there's more plastic in the edge of this disc than my other ones. Really fun disc to throw. I can depend on it every time. Hit it out there with some hyzer, it's coming back for sure. Hit it flat, it'll fly flat for a little while, and then hyzer. So there's not much turnover with this one, and really great gift. Thank you, Tyrell. Lastly, I've got 1 Star Boss in the bag right now. A lot of times I'll carry 2 or 3. Just depends on which course I play. Like I said, it all comes down to feel for me. So if I like the champion feel and it's got a, you know, if it's a little flatter, typically I like to go with those for those flat, low shots. This Boss has a little bit of dome in it, so this one can get up in the air. What I'll typically do with this is take the line on the inside and then let it turn over. That way I can get the maximum distance. I can throw about, maybe on average, 30 foot further with the Boss than any other disc. I can throw the Destroyers and the Scorpius a good ways, but the Boss is definitely my maximum distance disc. You know, only having 1 in the bag right now doesn't mean there won't be 4 in there at some point. I love this disc. So I use it for forehands and backhands, again, for long power distance. Anything that I need to bump up and get a little extra speed, or maybe sometimes just even get around that tree, I'll use the Boss just because it goes a little faster. So.